How you doing, guys? I was thinking about Easel and making a new design for coasters, something with not just square sides or hexagonal, but with rounded corners. And I got to thinking, I think I can do that in Easel and even in Inkscape, another program that I've just gotten into, because I wanted to try to make some more complex designs to cut out. So I thought, hey, let me dive into this and make a video about it and show you what I found out. So you just normally make a shape here in Easel by going to Shapes and selecting a rectangle. But you can also modify the corners, like with the section corner radius here. So you can type in the X and the Y, and there you go, you get rounded corners. Now for my purposes, I don't need them quite so sharp or quite so rounded, but let me see, 5mm. Yeah, that's about what I'm looking for. And to just cut out. There we go. So then that would be a rounded corner for the coasters. Now, of course, I would go full depth, since this would be a 1/4-inch sheet of oak. So, yeah, I mean, I can also do the same thing in Inkscape. So if I go to Inkscape, as here I've got a hexagon. So now, if you're not familiar with Inkscape, I can make a video about the absolute basics about how to get it, how to use it, and how to import things. I can show even importing things here. So you would just go over to the left toolbar, and there are the tools where you can create a rectangle, ellipse, arcs, or circles, stars, polygons, and 3D spirals. It's really a lot more you can do with this. Adobe Illustrator is the paid version, which is even more powerful, but Inkscape to me is free, and I love free. So, and this allows you to create SVGs, which you can then import into Easel or other programs that you can use to control your CNC machine. So, and one thing you can't do with Easel is create something like a hexagon or something, or modify the corners, how many sides it has, like that. Let's say if you wanted to make a stop sign, like that. And then you can also type in what dimensions you want it to have, like, and this is in millimeters. You could do 50 just to mess around, or to make it a perfect octagon. And then to round off these corners, just for funsies, you go to the node tool, which basically gets you into the method of modifying the vertices, and select it. And then there's the tool here on the top toolbar which says Add Corners Live Path Effect, and then I highlight everything, and then you can start to modify the, you can round it over, almost turns it into a circle if you do it that way. But yeah, a bit more powerful. And if you highlight all of these, you can do them uniformly. But yeah, it's almost a circle, which is kind of weird. But you can see the difference even more so when you're working with like a 5-sided shape. Like if I created a pentagon here, node tool, if you need that kind of a shape, you can absolutely play around with it, or you can draw your own with the pencil tool or the pen tool, which allows you to freehand your own shapes. But this allows you definitely to create more complex designs. I will be making a video about this in the future, getting more into depth with, like, especially if you're going to be creating a thing in your CNC machine that you're going to assemble parts that you would glue together. You could get into this. Or even better would be Fusion 360, where you can 3D model the parts to get the sizes. That is a piece of software that I'm still very new at, but definitely want to get into that for modeling woodworking projects and cut lists, all of that. But for now, creating simple flat planed objects in the CNC, like coasters or other objects like that, is very doable with Inkscape and Easel itself. So then to import it, I would just create the object. There's even rounded corners here. So I just went to rectangle, and then the RX and the RY are the same rounded corner idea as here in Easel Pro, where you would go to the shape and the corner radius. It's the same thing. And then if you want to import it, what I did is I just save it as a drawing to my desktop, and I've already done it as a test. And then I would go into Easel and make sure that when you do it, it's saving as an SVG right here. And then go back to Easel. Let me delete this. Then you go to Project, Import SVG, go to where you have the SVG file, open it, and then it will import it. And it should import the same dimensions that you entered when you created it in Inkscape. Now, of course, you can tweak that. You can scale it up and down here and mess with it if you want to. Make sure you have all your settings correct, and then you would just go to carve it like you would just start carving anything else. It's actually very simple to do that with even just an SVG file that you find online that you like. Just make sure that when you import it that it's not sized improperly, or if the shape is correct and that you get the size, you scale it down properly. But yeah, so very simple to make something a bit more complex other than just a square or a circle or a shape or text. But yeah, I can make a video on Inkscape, and then when I get in more into Fusion 360, I can do that as well. But let me know in the comments if you're wanting to see more of that or something a bit more involved. But yeah, thanks guys.